Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about Book 12 of the Wheel of Time series, The Gathering Storm, by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. So as always, considering how far we are into the series, this review will be entirely spoiler filled. So if you haven't read it and you're okay with spoilers, then fine. But if don't want to be spoiled, then bow out. So yeah, with that being said, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And let's begin. So let's talk about Rand. Rand's story has been really, really interesting. This is something that I've been hoping was going to happen for a long time. I figured this kind of stuff would, it would have to. Like, you literally have the weight of the world. Like, this kind of pressure would have to crush the nature of who you actually are. It would eventually have to. So initially, I was still getting really annoyed with Rand because they had Cimarog, I believe, of the Forsaken's name, but he's still got this misguided level of chivalry that even got him in trouble with the maidens. It's like, if they're going to be your bodyguards, you got to let them guard your body. You got to let them get in danger. You got to let them fight and stuff. You got to get over the chivalry of not letting women be able to fight. Like, they are capable. Like, whatever, you want to be protective and all that stuff, but at the same time you're insulting them, so quit doing that. Like, that has been my opinion for the longest time, and it's bugged me. That's one of the biggest things about Rand that has always bugged me. So when we have the women, the Aes Sedai and all of them, they have this Forsaken who they need to get information from. He has literally charged them with getting information out of her, but they can't torture her, they can't beat her, they can't do anything. Like, they can't hurt her in any kind of way and stuff. I'm like, how? Like, this is one of the smart Forsaken at that. Like, one of the ones who love torture and killing and all that stuff, and who's slippery and like all this kind of stuff. And like, you just made their job so much harder for no reason. And I love the fact that he gets almost immediate consequences as a result. Like, well, granted, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for what is his name? The Murdral, that's the dark one, that thing. I can't remember his name, but the one that's the dark one, Shadow Haram, that's what it is. So if it wasn't for him like coming to save her and stuff and basically giving her another chance, and I'm assuming he the one that went and got the domination ban, and he like gives it to her and stuff, and she's able to put it on Rand, and she takes the Forsaken takes full control of Rand, and he's almost killing men, and as a result, because he's like, there's nothing else you can do to me. Like, he's at this point, he's already like chilled out most of his emotions. He describes himself as steel and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, okay, so he's emotionless, and like, it's like he's just really hard. I'm like, if he goes any harder, then it's going to be terrible, because at that point he's just going to be completely cut off. And I love the fact that like a lot of just the nature of this story is so embedded in my head that my brain immediately went, like, he's still right now, but like, we just don't want him to get to Quindiar. So like, that was what I was thinking even before he made that comparison to himself. So I was just like, ah, no, he's going like, if you're Quindiar, that's worse than Steel. So you are just dead inside. And I'm just like, ah. So when he's dealing with that situation, he almost kills men. He taps into the Dark One's power, the true power, which I assume he only has access to because his connection to Moradin, who is a Shemael, that, resurrected or whatever, because he wasn't killed with Bellfire. So I'm assuming that's why he has access to it, because of their connection, which implies that connection is a lot stronger and a lot more critical than I was thinking it was. I wonder if it's going to have to be like a kill you, kill me kind of thing towards the end. But so he ends up using that to break the domination ban and stuff, and he frees himself and Luke's there and like loses his mind the entire time, and then he wipes the Forsaken and her friend just completely out of the pattern using Bellfire and stuff, and which in a move that I think is completely justified. As a result, he gets so pissed at Catswain, whose responsibility it was to keep that thing protected and keep it away. He gets so pissed off, he banishes her from his sight. Like, if I see you again, I will kill you. And I thought that was just, I thought that was so appropriate. I thought it was so well deserved because the way she treats him and stuff. But Cat Swain being Cat Swain, she finds ways around it. She has like a veil and stuff over here, like you said, if you can't see my face. So she's still like hanging around like the camp and all this stuff, hanging around his people and everywhere he goes and all this stuff. But she's like just staying out of his sight. And so she's trying to manipulate other people into helping him. So her basic plan is to get Rand's humanity back by having him hang out with his dad, really, to like, get that kind of family life, that kind of personal connection from his past to kind of reawaken who he actually is. Relation of multiple people, which I was really annoyed by, because like Nynaeve starts to go and try to help her because she starts to see that this Darth Rand is like actually really bad and stuff, and like so she tries to go and help Cat Swain to do whatever her plan is, but Cat Swain treat her like she's dirt and treat her like she's just a child that doesn't deserve to know the whole plan and stuff. So it just drives me so nuts. And then the fact that she does that kind of thing to Nynaeve it kind of blows my mind that she would then tell Tam everything she told him, and then didn't really tell Tam to do not say anything about, like, she didn't impress upon him how important it was not to mention her, to keep her completely out of it. Like, so when Tam tells Rand, like, yeah, that lady told, like, and it kind of triggers Rand and causes him to almost kill his dad and stuff. I'm like, it was very expected. I'm like, duh, that's what happens. Like, but if you were so thorough with this plan, you should have made sure that he wouldn't have given you away or anything like that. So I was just frustrated by it, but like I was also like, oh, come on, Rand, like remember your dad and stuff. Like, you know, sheep herder who didn't want to do nothing. You just wanted to go home and hang out and stuff. Like, who's that guy? But I'm like, I was really, really enjoying just emotionless, hard as Quindiar, kind of crazy as Rand. I was really digging it a lot. It was just entertaining. Like, I wouldn't want them to stick like that for too long because that's not very engaging, especially being totally emotionless but being mean at the same time. But like, I was just enjoying it for the moment for what it was. And this is one of the first times we have something like that happen in the book, where it starts in the book and it finishes in the book. So that's a really interesting difference, because a lot of these books to me have been feeling like chapters. It's like episodes of an anime, it just drops to be continued or whatever. But like, this one feels like it has a start, middle, and end. It's like all the events that are basically set up in this book, apart from, you know, the end of the story and everything, kind of happens and settles in this book. And I thought that was really cool. That's kind of different. That's different from what typically happens. But after Rand almost kills his dad, he basically starts freaking out and like majorly freaks out, and then tries to use the anger and stuff that he has in him to go end the Shan-Chan. But when he goes to the area that they've taken over, he sees that people are like prosperous and stuff. People are happy. They're living, everybody except for people that can channel are living better under the Shan-Chan and stuff. And he's like kind of getting a little conflicted in his head. But he's still of the mindset of, y'all didn't do what I wanted you to do, so I'm still going to genocide the hell out of all these people and stuff. But like, he embraces the power and pulls it through the Chuadon Call, which he's basically keeping like Gollum, like my precious and stuff at this point. Like, he's got a special pocket sewn in his jacket for it and everything. I'm like, that's not good. That's probably why that thing's not mentioned in the prophecies, because it's like a temptation beacon thing. It's like a lust for too much power. I don't think he's like, because they also mention a lot in this story about like, some people think they understand how the Dark One minds work, like how the Dark One like thinks and moves and behaves, but in reality it's nothing like that. And I think that's setting up for a huge twist of the way the final battle and stuff's going to go. That definitely, because like they're going at it a little too straightforward, and I think, you know, being creature from beyond time and space is probably a little more intelligent than that. So I think it's going to be we're definitely going to get a curveball, I'm expecting at this point. So when Rand basically tries to genocide everybody in the Shan-Chan area, he gets immediately sick. He gets this terrible, terrible nausea to the point where he doubles over and like falls out in the street and stuff. And it's really interesting because part of me thinks that that's like his Tarviran nature. Like, he's not supposed to do that. Like, that's not helping the pattern to have done something like that. And I think that's like literally the pattern pushing back against him. Or it's a influence of the corruption of using both of those types of power. Like, maybe he had got to work some of that power out of his system with the proper power. Because for a good bunch of the book, every time he goes around people, food spoiling, their tea will spoil and stuff like that. And I kind of assume that's a result of having channeled the Dark One's true power or whatever. So I'm not certain, but like that could be just a random Targaryen thing, but it seems too dark, especially since everyone describes like this dark haze around him and stuff like that. So I imagine it has to be, you know, something like that. But after that, Rand, after he fails to pretty much obliterate them, he retreats to Dragon Mountain. He goes to the place where Lews Therin killed himself, and he's basically like thinking about all of the stuff, thinking about what's the point of it if time is a wheel, if we're all just going to come back around and do it all over again. Like, what's the point? And he draws like an insane amount of power into the Chuadon Call, more than he had when they cleansed the power, which is like, I can't even conceptualize how much power that is. Like, it's ridiculous. And he's basically thinking about burning the pattern, aka obliterating all existence. If Rand is legitimately capable of that, he's literally the strongest channeler, period. Like there's nobody that can be stronger than him if he can do that. Like that's insane. It's just insane. Like that power is ridiculous. But he basically ends up getting talked down. He gets talked off the ledge by Lews Therin, the one who he's been talking down pretty much the entire time. And Lews Therin in his head sounds very lucid and stuff, so you can tell it's kind of a different thing. And he basically tells him the point of life. He's like, the reason why we keep getting spun back out into the world is to love. Like we get a second chance to love again, to try again, to just it's just a second chance, or a second, third, fourth, fifth, however many times chance again. It's like each time you go through it again, you're just trying to do it a little better, just trying to do it a little better. And it's really interesting because it goes back to something in the show. The woman, when they're talking to the Tinkers, when they meet up with the Tinkers, Perrin and Egwene, and they're having that conversation about the way of the leaf and stuff. And when the woman gives the entire speech about her daughter that died, maybe next time when she spun out into the world, it'll be a better, world that she spun out into, like, because she's trying to do good on this turnaround, and like maybe the next turn will be like, so it kind of plays into all of that stuff, which I kind of retroactively now has to give more credit to that first season of the show, because if you understood that on that philosophy level, then you just deserve a little bit more credit. So basically, that kind of results in Rand kind of calming down and stuff, and he inverts the power back into the Chuadon Call and explodes it and destroys the giant Sa'angreal that it is. He either just destroys the access key. I don't know if he destroys the big one, but I'm pretty sure just the access key. But either way, he doesn't have access to that insane amount of power anymore. And now Lews Therin's voice is basically gone, because now their fractured souls from across time have now melded into one. And he's like the truest version of the dragon that he's supposed to be. So we're going to go forward with Rand in this like Zen state, insanely powerful. He's laughed again, he's smiling again, he's normal and stuff. And like we just still got to deal with the Shan Chan a little bit. Almost everything else is set up and stuff. Almost everything is placed. We just got to deal with the Shan Chan a little bit. And I'm liking Tuon a little bit less, because that entire interaction where she was feeling the Targaryen pool and Rand's trying to force her into what he wants to do, and she resisted it. I really like the fact that somebody was able to resist it, but I'm also like, damn it, girl, we gotta get this stuff together. So it's like, but I don't know, I thought it was cool. I just really like this book so much. I can't give a definitive tell between, Brandon and Robert pretty much in this, like, except for a little couple things that I mentioned, but overall not too much. But I really like this book a lot. I can't really explain it enough. Like, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's probably my favorite in the series so far. In this book, I think, honestly, this is the book that has convinced me that this entire series is worth a reread. Because all the stuff like with Varen and a lot of that stuff and a lot of men's visions, because now they're starting to poke holes in their visions, it makes me want to go back and try to pick every men's vision, like listen to everything Varen ever says and stuff like that, just try to pick out all these other things. I'm starting to really understand why people say, yeah, this is my third or fourth time reading through the series and stuff. Like, there's a lot of little stuff in here, and there might even be some hidden gems in the slog, and I'm like, very much don't want to go back to those, but like at this point, like, maybe it's a little like Attack on Titan in that way. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this insanely long video. And yeah, I'm saying, what was your favorite part of The Gathering Storm? What do you all think about it? How did you think the first book of the integration between Brandon and Robert? How do you think Brandon did? Do you think he kept true to Robert Jordan's voice? I really do, personally. But I want to know what you all think about it. Do you think Brandon did a good job? Like, this first one, don't tell me too much about book 12 or 13 to 14. Don't tell me anything about that. But like, how do you think Brandon did on this first time cut? This first one of the 3 that he did. Let me know about that in the comments down below. So as always, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will talk to y'all next time. Peace.